Right, so a very good evening, everyone. We'll be starting our presentation sessions now. There's an alternate session going on. You can join that session as well. Uh, Please raise your hands and we'll go by the order of raised hands. Right, first we have Shubham Suryank with us.
Hello.
Yeah.
Good evening, sir. So, is my screen visible?
Yeah, your screen is visible. Have you started sharing?
1 second, sir. Yes, I have just clicked on it. Share screen. So, yes, sir. Is it visible right now?
Yeah, it's visible.
So starting up with the presentation, and I was being allotted with a project to search for the to create the doctor search website. So this presentation. So, sir, I will start on with the presentation. So the presentation includes the following contents. It starts on with the introduction of this project and it follows on with the aims and then methodology in which we discuss how we have encountered this situation and with the live demonstration and the limitations which we are encountering while encountering this project, the future works which can be done upon this project to get a better output from this project and the conclusion and the references. So starting up with the introduction. 1 second, sir. Starting up with the introduction. So, sir, this website was just to end the results, to end the search of our doctors, because this platform provides us with an user-friendly platform which helps us to search the doctors based upon this specialty and the area in which they are performing their practice, or so the customers can get a better output results and a quick results to search the doctors in their locality. So the first step towards optimal health by connecting with the perfect healthcare professionals who meet our needs and the search, and to start our search and make informed decisions about our well-being. So now coming up with our expectations which we wanted to meet with our website. So this website helps us to discover the ideal doctor for our needs with our comprehensive website. Yeah, and this website helps us to locate the qualified and better professionals which we are in need according to the present condition of the patients. And this website also helps us to take the control of our health journey by making informed choices. So actually this website, and while developing this website, there were 5 major steps. The first step, which was the designing; second, which was the development of the front end; and the third step was the development of the back end; the fourth step was maintaining the database; and the fifth step, which was one of the most major step, which was the hosting. So starting up with the designing, so the complete design and the layout was created by the Figma software, which was being prescribed by the Hackveda Institute, and which help us to give the templates and modify the templates according to our needs. The second step, moving on to the second step, which is the front end. In this step, we were just focusing upon the creating of the HTML and the CSS. And these codes were extracted by the using of the Logify builder. The third step, which included as a backend, in backend we have used PHP to create the web services and jQuery for connecting it with the front end, which was developed earlier. The fourth step, which was the database. So in the database section, we have used MySQL to create and store the entire information about the doctor, which includes some of the parameters, some of the attributes such as the name, location, experience, and the images and others. Like in the fifth step, which I have said that it was the hosting step, in this step we have used 000 web host, which is a free website which help us to publish our website publicly. So this is just a design of my layout which I have created using the Figma software. So the Logify builder has helped us to just extract the HTML and the CSS code for the template which I have designed. So moving on to the actual flow of the design, in actually this model works on, first we have to just provide the entry of the category, like which domain we are just searching for the doctor, like it's a surgeon or a dental or a general physician. Now the entered data are used to fetch the result from the backend. And after the result is fetched from the backend, it again moves in the reverse order and it goes back again to the front end. So moving on to the backend, as prescribed earlier, that I have used PHP and jQuery. PHP has been used to utilize the backend operation and handling the logical and the decision processing. jQuery is used for asymmetric jQuery and XML queries. jQuery facilitates the AJAX request, enables seamless communication between the front end and the backend. There was a data exchange with the jQuery, and the data was asynchronously exchanged between the front end and the PHP backend for dynamic and content generation, because we want the responses to be fetched up within a single click. So this enables us to give us a dynamic. So this is just the snapshot attached is just of my database. So database contains various informations like attributes and the data sets. The table was created to organize in the structure of the data information effectively. MySQL allows us to execute the SQL queries from the PHP in order to interact it with our database. So coming up with the Postman, this Postman software help us to test our the linking of the database with the backend. So efficiently API development is one of the feature which is given by the Postman. Postman seamlessly and API development with a user-friendly interface for designing, building, and documentation of APIs. API testing and debugging was also helped us by the Postman software. Postman empowers developers with robust testing features to send API requests, analyzes responses, and verify the API behaviors. Like finally, this was the final step while developing the website for the doctor search program. This is the hosting step. The website deployment was done by 000 web host, provided us with a platform to upload and deploy our website files. It offered as a web-based file manager for FTP access, allowing us to transfer the HTML, CSS, and various types of script files which were needed in order to host our website. So coming up with the live demonstration. So first, I would like to show you how this Postman software works. So like if I'm search and like there are two key parameters, that is search and area, and the value, like if I've set up the value as a general physician and I want to search it in Manipal, like I just have to type ME and just I have to send a query of send, and it gives me the result as follows. 1 second. So this is just a glimpse of my software. So like if I'm finding a dental research in Patna, like 1 second, so I would like to refresh it. So this is my website. I have included the navigation bar in which whenever I just move the mouse pointer, it just gives me an hover up effect. I have included the parameters like if we are on the lower segment and if I click on the search option, it just navigates me to the proper segment. So if I want to find a dental doctor in the region of Patna, I just have to just enter the following details and I just have to click on this, and this fetches me the results accordingly. So now coming back up to the presentation part. So coming up to the limitations which our website faces, that it's the first of all, it has a limited database coverage. That means we can fetch the doctors only whose data is fetched up into our database. We cannot get the idea about the doctors which have not been listed in our database. The second limitation is our geographical limitations, like the locations and the area which we prescribe in our website has to be precise enough. Like if we are for finding a doctor in nearby region also of like in the demonstration I showed Patna, if anyone wants to search a doctor in a nearby location, our website is ineffective in order to provide us with the results. And also the third and the most important is the security consideration, as the data of the doctors are uploaded in our website, and this website is a public website, so anyone can access, and if they want, so they can manipulate with the data. So this is one of the threat. So the future works which I want and that this website should include is first the user should have a personalized account in order they can, if they will be able to have their personal accounts, they can go on with the like creation of the account, which help us to keep a track about their appointments and the fees and how much visit and regular appointment with the doctor. The third is the appointment booking system. As this website is just focusing upon the search of the doctor, this website is not focusing upon how the booking should be linked up and the patient should be able to book. This is not included in this website, so this is one of the limitations. And also the third one is a user and the rating, user reviews. As nowadays everyone is just too much dependent upon the online networks, and most of us just wants to get a better rating, and just sometimes these reviews provide us with knowledge about the doctors from whom we want to recommend. So like if the users reviews and the ratings are good, then the of course the patients will be attracted towards that particular doctor. So this point is also not included. So the conclusion I would like to summarize, we have accomplished the development of the doctor search website with a visually appending front end through the use of PHP for the backend functionality integrating of my MySQL database and the A tools such as Postman for testing. The website enables users to conveniently search the doctors based on the search categories and the location, empowering them to make informed decisions regarding their healthcare. By hosting the website on 000 website, we have successfully deployed the PHP code and the MySQL database, ensuring public access and the streamlined user experience. So these were the references which I've used, and the first one is the hack with the playlist which was shared to us. The second one was Figma, which was used to create the front end and extract the templates. The third one is W3 Schools, which I used to help me with the HTML codes, and the third one and the fourth one and the final is the CSS tricks. So any questions and answers? Hello?
Right. This you are completed with
Yes,
the
sir.
PPT, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shubham,
Yes, sir.
you are from 16 June batch, right?
Yes, sir. 16th June.
Right. So when was this presentation scheduled?
So it was yesterday itself, 18th.
Yesterday, but I was like yesterday.
Yes, sir. Actually, on 16 June, on my joining date, I was being allotted with two simultaneous projects on the same date itself in the mail. And sir, I have the mail reference also, sir. Can I show you?
Because I can here I can see that you should have been given overview of project synopsis.
So, excuse me.
Yeah, it's scheduled for over week of project synopsis.
No, sir. Actually, sir, in the mail, I got this reference only, like in Gmail section.
And yesterday it's
Yes, sir. So see, we have received the request presentation. Request ID is this to be scheduled on 18th.
right. It's presentation title. Can you
Yes, sir.
read the presentation title? It's overview of project synopsis.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So since you have joined from 16 June,
Yes, sir. Actually, sir, there is some issue in the website also, because this website and the intern tracker is showing that I have joined on 30th May itself.
okay. So have you
I have informed this issue to the Nitish sir who was allotted to me.
okay? And what was his response?
He just said that you can just ignore the deadline, continue with the project. And when I said that I have been issued with the date from the 30th May, he said that don't worry, it will be taken care from our end.
Okay, but still, since you're joining a 16 June, now it's nearly, more than a
1 month.
month.
Yes,
So
sir.
why the delay?
Sir, actually, I was new to this website. I was new to this website development, so it was taking time.
So you took like 1 month for one task.
So actually, in the meantime, in the middle, I was unable to get the PHP stuff. And Nitish sir, I informed this everything. Every day, I just gave the daily status report.
Okay. Well, so let's continue with the presentation review. See, can you show me the demo part first?
So demonstration of the website.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
right. Just refresh the page.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and okay.
So,
Uh, So, can you just go for the result section? Doctors found in your area.
yes,
Right,
sir.
right. So, why the results are going towards
So
all the
yes,
way?
sir. I know that the results are going towards the right.
Because there are still space
Mm,
on the left side.
yes, this thing I was unable to manage. There is a slight space in the right hand side due
Okay.
to which it's getting. I tried to
Could
encounter this,
have
but I
been
was.
gone vertical. If I believe,
It should have been gone to the lower section. I know.
yeah. So why is that? I mean, didn't you get the CSS file properly?
Sir,
Or
I just extracted the code of the CSS, but I was unable to. I just tried many times, but I was unable to figure out this thing. If the database was small, it was coming in the center itself, but it contains.
maybe it's because of the compartment that you have built in the Figma
Yes, sir.
overlapping with the
Yeah.
section.
Yes,
Yeah, so should work on this. It could be marked as incomplete if the CSS properties are not properly
okay,
displayed.
sir. I will look into this.
Right. So just try for it or go for. Do you have the access for Trello?
Sir?
Trello,
No, sir.
Trello board. Okay. Go for the technical support itself. Just
Okay.
post your GitHub link and
Okay. Okay,
mention
sir.
mention your query.
Okay.
Right. So the support guy will definitely allot you one contact detail, which who will help you actually
Okay, sir.
this
Thank you.
stuff. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Secondly, apart from that, the demo is built properly and it's actually good. The reference which you used was you took
Yes.
that reference, na, right?
Yes, sir. I have just gone through all the videos and I have seen each and every details minutely.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I can see the demo. Apart from that, CSS, just
Yes, sir.
the rest of the demo part is good.
Okay.
Coming back to the PPT part, right? See, although you did explain everything, but I believe it was short on information. Like you didn't explain the backend part. There were like two files: web service one, web service.
Yes, sir. Two parts, web service one and web
Yeah, you
service.
could have
The we-
explained the
yes,
difference
sir.
between them and could have explained the code.
Okay, so actually I thought that it was just trying to link up with the Postman and it was at the most of the segment just includes the database informations directly. So I thought that
But yeah,
that Postman would have covered this.
could be
Okay, sir.
elaborative.
Okay, sir.
How did you go for the and what's happening in the backend part, right? And yeah, can you scroll up?
Yes, sir. To which slide number like?
Just scroll up. Right, and you didn't even show the hosting site as well. What's there in the hosting site? What's happening? Like the what are you updating in the file manager or
Okay, sir. Like yes, sir. I
yeah,
have those access.
yeah. Don't show it now because it should have been shown in the during the
Okay, sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Sorry,
So
sir.
you should have shown this at the time of presentation. That's what I'm saying. It's shorter information. Could have been more elaborative. You did go with the flow. There was a hook story, proper hook story,
Okay.
and you did explain the steps. But then again, you should have shown the actual steps, actual things which you are doing in the backend side, and
Mm.
because when you at the very first, I believe third or fourth slide, the steps you mentioned 5 steps, but there was no testing step. You skip the test. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
methodology.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there is no
Yes.
testing, and but then you did continue with the postman. So that's what
Yes,
I'm
sir.
saying. As just like you,
I should have included the Postman step in between the database and the hosting.
yeah, and that's
Okay,
what I'm
sir.
saying. That I believe,
I got it, sir.
yeah,
I got my mistakes.
just the elaboration part and go down. Okay, yeah, there's good use of graphs. So that's, I believe, just complete your demo part properly. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And submit it in the technical support.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Have you created the GitHub link?
No, sir, I haven't posted, but I'll post it today itself and
Yeah,
just
just
post it in the tech support as soon as tomorrow.
yeah, so
As
that's
a last
how
one.
your task one will be completed then. Your presentation
Okay, sir.
plus the task, the PPT and the demo part using GitHub link, which you
Okay, sir.
submit. Okay.
So, sir, basically tomorrow I just have to post my GitHub link and this the PPT which I have just displayed.
Right. Do it today, possible.
So the technical supports get disabled after
Acha, right. It's
6.
6 p.m. Past 6.
Okay, sir.
Right. Just do it tomorrow then.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So can I stop sharing?
Yeah, and do your second task overview of projects and offset as soon as possible
Okay, sir.
because it's already been scheduled twice.
Okay, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Right. So let's move forward. We have Byleen Janet Roy with us. You can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Is my voice audible, sir?
Yeah, they're visible.
Yes, sir. 1 second. I'll share my screen, sir. Good evening to everyone present here. Good evening, sir. The task given to me was denial of service attack using OWASP HTTP DOS tool. Before getting into the presentation, let me just explain what is DOS. DOS is nothing but denial of service. We know what is meant by the word denial, and we know what is meant by service. Service means we are requesting for something, and the person who got that request should give us something, right? So why should we deny the service of something? Okay, before telling that, let me just tell you the basic how a website works. We'll be having a client side and we'll be having a server side, right? What the client does, he will be placing the request to the server, and the server will be servicing the client. That is, he'll be responding to the client. What if the server couldn't respond? The client will not be satisfied, right? That is what the basic of the denial of service. That is, if you have a website named abc.com and it can accept only 100 or 200 requests at a time, what if a hacker enters and gives false requests into it, and he does not allow the normal regular users to connect to the website? That is how the DOS attack works. And the meaning of the OWASP is online web application security product. Okay, now let me just get into the presentation. Yes, as I said earlier, DOS stands for the denial of service, and we have three major roles played here: the client, the server, and the hacker. I'll just give a basic example scenario to let you know about DOS in an explanatory manner. This is how the scenario will be. If you can see the server system over here, right? He will be getting the request from the client to act according to the request and give the feedback or result to the client, right? What if the hacker, imagine me as the hacker, if I'm doing a DOS attack into it, which is the false information, that is not real information, not real request, or not real, yeah, exactly request. If I'm placing not real request into the server and the server getting overloaded, the client who wants, the legitimate client who wants to get into the server will be denied by the server because I overloaded the website. That's how the basic scenario works for a DOS attack. I hope you all understood that. And we'll be having the client, the hacker, and the server here. But why we have to do the DOS attack? What is the use of the DOS? Denial of service. What can happen of denying the service of a client? Yes, hacktivism. Some hackers may perform DOS attack for protesting or maybe some ideological cause. And it is also a reason, cyber warfare. If some attackers, some state-sponsored attackers wanted to launch, I mean, they may have some demands to be done so that they'll be waging a warfare, which is known as a cyber warfare through a DOS attack. And we have many other reasons like extortion, competitive advantage, and distraction. And competitive advantage is the best example for us to know. If I have a company and I wanted to spoil the name of the other company, I'll be launching a DOS attack so that his response to the customers will be reduced, so that in such a way I'll be beating him at my own advantage, right? And I'll be explaining now what I have learned through by doing the tasks which were given by the hack meta. And to be done, HTTP flood is done by using the HTTP DOS. We all know what is meant by the word HTTP, Hypertext Transmit Protocol, right? What can be done, what I'm doing with using the DOS is I'll be denying the service given by the server by flooding it with HTTP requests so that the service will be denied. I have mentioned the steps over the next slide. I'll explain you each and every one by going to the next slide. Yeah. What I have done, don't get too tense by seeing this. I'll be showing a live demonstration too. Now let me just explain this verbally and get to it. First, I'll be using a putty machine. We all know putty is an SSH open secured shell, which is used for me to link to the server to work as a server machine. And HTTP DOS tool, the tool which I have used here, that is the Hypertext Transmit Protocol Denial of Service tool, which I have used here is Switchblade, which is used for me to create a HTTP flood so that I can create a denial of service attack, an example one, not a real one, but an example one, right? And I'll be using a particular port so that I can use my server IP and port to connect to a particular one. And I'll be launching a DOS attack through the Switchblade, which is an external GUI. I'll be starting a DOS attack. Then you can see how the DOS attack is performed by using the putty tool. That is how it is done. And how can I prevent it? Yes, we all know DOS just is done by flooding with the request of different things, right? So I can either build one a firewall configuration, like which is a true one and which is false one. Firewall has the capability to segregate the true results and the false results. Like in such a way, we can segregate and false results can be ignored and rate limiting. I can just limit the rate of requests that can be received by the server. That is what I have done by the task. I'll be limiting the rate so that the DOS attack can be prevented. Then many such methods such as the intrusion prevention system, load balances, content delivery network, DOS protection service. We have many other servers for protecting server from DOS attack, our website, our server. Monitoring and anomaly detection. If this is done by using the ML algorithm, we'll be training an ML algorithm by giving it the knowledge of finding what is anomaly and what is normal one, and it will be performing its work. And we should keep our system software updated so that the firewall inside it will be updated so that will not get attacked from any malware or any other things like this DOS attack or man in the middle attack and so on and so on. And incident response plan. These all can be used to prevent the DOS attack. And this is what the one which I have used here is known as the Switchblade, that is version 4.0. I have mentioned my IP address as an HTTP URL with the port number which I have used. I have mentioned the syntax here too. And this is the mission which I have used in putty. I have used Kali Linux mission. And these are the major things which I have used. Now let me get into a live demonstration. First, as a step, I'm just activating my Amazon Web Service server. I'm starting my server and I'm just waiting for it to get started. And after starting my server, I'm just turning my putty machine on, my SSH console, right? So that I can use my putty machine as a Kali one and I can work through it. I'm just copying my public IP address so that I can paste here. And I have created one key here. First, I have created one key so that I can log in into my credentials with the key I have created. And yes, I have browsed my key too. Now I have turned my putty machine on, giving accept. Yes, and yes, I have logged in into my putty machine. I'll just perform the commands so that I can run the DOS attack now. And later on, I'll explain the commands to you in a brief manner. First, I have to connect it into my service, right? Like Apache Web Service and so on. So let me just connect it into it. Sudo the web service. I have to activate a web service, and it is Apache. I have to start it, right? Now I have started the Apache Web Service. Now I have to link it to the IP address which I have created for the server, right? So I'm just creating one port here. I'll just tell you what is this K, L, V, and P means. The K, the first of all, NCAT itself is a utility which is used, which has its own performing tasks and so on. And the hyphen K here, the hyphen K here explains keep open. It tells the NCAT to keep the connection open even if the client disconnects. That is what K does. And the L here, the L means listen. It should have to listen to the incoming connections effectively during when the host into the server. And the hyphen V here, the hyphen V stands for verbose. The word verbose gives us more detailed information about what is exactly happening there. And the P here, it is for a port number. We are mentioning the port number here, 4567. I'm going to link it into the port number 4567. So I have used the port here and the port number here. That's it. Now I'm just listening into the NCAT which I have linked, and I'm just turning my switchblade on. Here I have my rough URL here. So I'm just using my IP address which I have created for my host one. Wait a second. Which I have created for my host one. Let me just go into the putty as well as switchblade. Okay. Now I'm just pasting my URL, I mean IP address, then the port which I have used 4567, right? And I'm just what these terminologies means. Connections, the number of connections which I have to give us a false one, and the rate of connection and the timeout at how much seconds should it have to get timed out. That is timed out, and the user agent from which the false request should be made, service should be given. That's it. Now I'm giving the run attack so that I can see here the false attack is done so that the new connection is denied because I have given the reach of total 100. That's it. That is the reason. Now I'm just canceling it. Now, how can I prevent this DOS attack? I have a simple statement here. I just enter it through. As I'm being, I don't have the main privileges. I'm using the sudo keyword here. Sudo is used for using the privileges which is administered only to the admin one. Yeah. IP tables. IP tables is just a kind of table which has its own IP. Yes, I have my pre-built thing. Okay, I'll just explain this too before executing. Yes, as I said earlier, sudo is just used for giving the supervisor privileges just for executing this command. And the IP tables is a command line utility which is used for configuring the net filter firewall rules and so on. I can filter the firewall rules and I can show that. And the A input. What does this mean is specified we are adding one input to change to the firewall. That is, we are adding one separate rule to the firewall. And the protocol which we are using here, the -P refers to the protocol, and TCP is a transmission control protocol. The protocol I'm using here is transmission control protocol. And the D port refers to destination port. The destination port is 4567. As I have created my port as 4567, I'm just using the same port. And -M refers to -M connection limit refers to I have to restrict the number of connections, right? As I told earlier, how to limit the DOS attack, or how to prevent the DOS attack. I told by stopping the flooding of HTTP requests, right? So I'm just giving a connection limit so that it will not allow the more number of service, so that the performance will be better. And the connection limit is done about 5, and it is done. I have set the maximum service that can be accepted is 5, and after that what have to be done is I have to reject the other things. That is how this will be working. I'm giving enter to perform, and you can see it worked, and I'm doing the same here by changing the input values. Maybe I didn't stop the previous attack, so just wait for a second. Yes, this is my previous attack, which has got 400 disconnected connections because of the thing, and primary limit was set to 100, so that it got cancelled. Now let me just change the input values to 10,000, 10,000 connections to make, and connection rate to be 1,000, and timeout to be 1,000 again, so that it can work in an efficient way, but it will get stopped because I have set the connection limit to 5. As I set the connection limit to 5, it will get stopped here. And I forgot one thing again. Let me just start the NCAT again. I'm starting the port, I'm listening on it, and I'm running the attack now. You can see here, the connected number of services is 5, yet the other attack is being proceeded, but the thing is stopped, right? So it will of course get failed because only 5 servers got connected. So in such a way, I can stop the DOS attack. And this is the live demonstration. Okay, let me just get into the PPT again. Okay, in my summary, we have just seen what is a DOS attack. DOS is just a denial of service, and we are attacking a server by using the DOS. And why we are performing DOS attack? Like we see, we have to create a distraction, or we have to clear the reputation, that is damage the reputation of certain company. Will be doing a DOS attack. And I have mentioned what are the steps to perform, how a DOS attack can be done and how it can be prevented. And what is Switchblade? Switchblade is nothing but a HTTP DOS tool. That is hypertext transmit protocol denial of service tool, which can be used to start a DOS attack. It is a tool used for that. And I have shown a live demo too. And how a DOS attack can be prevented. I have prevented by using the word name connection limit, con limit, and I have set it to 5 so that it will be accepting only 5 connections and the rest will be ignored. That's it. Any other questions? And for contact, if you have any other queries, you can contact me to my mail ID. And this is my questioning session. If anyone has any question, you can raise now. And this is my reference. The reference is given by Hackweather directly, and I have used it, and that's it. Thank you, sir.
Right. Your presentation flow was very good. There was good energy, good expressions, and the demo part was slightly, interruptive in between while when you forgot the steps. That shouldn't happen. Go with proper flow. But
Yes, sir.
apart from that, the demo part was good as well. And talking about the PPT, your PPT is well structured and quite unique at the rest which I have seen before. I believe this was actually a very good presentation from your side. Did
Thank
you, you did mention the GitHub contact. I believe,
I don't get you, sir.
yeah, no. I thought there was not no mention of the contact details, but you did
I
mention.
mentioned it.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
you did mention. That's all from my side. I believe there is no flaw in this. Apart from this, you could have just practiced 2 more times just to get a proper flow for the demo
Yes.
part. But apart from that, the presentation was very good.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Shall I stop my presentation,
Yeah,
sir?
you can stop your presentation. Right. We move next to lovely Pangotra. Yeah, you can unmute.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Is my screen visible, sir?
Yeah, your screen is visible.
So, good evening, everyone. I'll be starting out with my project, which is real-time stock market data web application. And the task that I've been allotted is to create a project timeline. So, first of all, let me walk you through this scenario in which an individual or a group of individuals asked one particular team to complete a project. So the task manager of that particular team decided to just give the whole project away to a group and let them figure out on their own what do they need to do. And all he gave was a deadline, and he left all the rest of the things that are needed to be done to the teammates. So initially everything was going fine, But after a while, there was a slack delay of time in which, because in the initially they took a lot of time in the initial task, but in the later part, when they saw the deadline coming, they had to reduce the amount of time they had to give for each and every task. So this led to a lot of chaos. Also, some tasks that were supposed to be done earlier were done later. So the dependencies of tasks weren't met properly. So all this chaos led to the team not working efficiently, not delivering a well-structured and well-maintained project. So in the end, when the project was scheduled to be delivered to the individual, that individual wasn't happy at all. So what the individual did is he took the task and he gave the same project to another team. So the team two who got the task, and the project manager of this team decided to first of all break down the task, divide the project into different tasks. He also wanted to put the dependencies, that which task is dependent on which one, so we'll be able to complete the tasks that are depended upon earlier, the tasks that depend on that particular task in a later part. Also, he scheduled each and every task. He assigned resources to each and every task. As in, the whole team was divided into subgroups, and some individuals were asked to perform on certain tasks, and other were asked to perform other tasks. He also, in the end, created a Gantt chart, and he asked the individuals to perform each and every task in this much amount of time, so that all the task and the project will be completed at the end of deadline. And he also made a timeline for it. And in the end, the whole project was a success. And when the individual received it, they were very happy. And obviously, a happy and satisfied individual will give you more money, and the whole team would thrive in the long run. So, starting out with the introduction, what is a project timeline in general? It's a visual representation and chronology of all the events in chronological order, all the activities that are to be performed, and all the milestones that are to be set within a particular project. So all the tasks that the manager divides have been allotted a particular amount of time, and the individuals are asked to do all the tasks in that amount of time. So it also provides an overview of schedule, duration, dependencies of each and every task, and it helps the project managers and the team members in the long run. What does the project timeline usually consist of? It consists of all the tasks and activities that are needed to be done. It also puts a duration of each and every task and activity. It puts away the dependencies. It gives the whole time frame in which the whole project is need to be done. It also has a Gantt chart in it. Then we'll move on to why do we need a project timeline? What are all the advantages of project timeline? It helps to plan, organize, and manage tasks in a project. It breaks down the project into smaller tasks and set deadlines for each and every task. It ensures the project completion and satisfaction, and identifies possible dependencies in each and every task, and major problems that are needed to be faced and are needed to be met by before starting and completion of each task. And it is a very essential tool for project manager. I already discussed in the previous scenario. It allows the client and stakeholders satisfaction, as the client would be client would know that how each and every task is done, and he'll be knowing that how much of a task is done and how much task is remaining. It also helps identify improvement in future projects. So first of all, whenever a project manager gets a whole project, he divides into phases. So in our case, we divided the project into different phases, such as front-end development would be the way in which the user and client would see the whole project running in front of his eyes in a browser. And phase 2 would be designing the backend, that is all the things that will be creating in the backend, and the user can access the backend, and he can also fetch certain APIs such as Alpha Vintage API and all the other APIs that we use in this project. And the third phase would be testing and deployment. as in we'll be testing our project against each and every thing that could come up while presenting a software or while testing a software. So for example, if we have to test a particular part of a website, we'll be testing it again and again, and we'll be checking if the output is corrected as expected. If we are getting certain exceptions, we'll be working on that, and then we'll be deploying it, that is hosting it on our web server. So these are all the phases that the group manager divides the project into. Then he sets a timeline against it, and that will be visually represented in a Gantt chart. What exactly is a Gantt chart? Gantt chart is a powerful management tool that provides a visual representation of project timeline. It helps you to track progress of each and every activity, dependency, and allocate resources effectively. What do you actually mean by allocating resources? So let's say a particular subgroup is been given a particular task. So the group manager decides that this much amount of people will be doing that activity, and this much investment or budget is to be set to the completion of that task. Let's say a smaller task will take less amount of people and less budget, and a larger task will take a large amount of people, large amount of group, and more budget. And it also helps in the for the project to stay on schedule, as we discussed in the scenario in which the team one weren't always on schedule. In the initial part of the project, they thought that they were on schedule, but as the project progressed, they got to know that they weren't on schedule, and they were very much less on time for the last part of the project. So they did the project in a very hurry. So that's why Gantt chart is a very essential tool for the project managers. So this is the Gantt chart of our project that we created. So first of all, we will be setting up the development environment. We'll be installing all the extensions, all the things that we'll be needing to create a project like a React.js and Node.js and things like that. Then we'll be styling the application. We'll be starting to formulate the UI of the application, that how will the application would look to the user. Then we'll be deploying the user authentication, that only the logged in users are the one who have the authenticated credentials to join or log in the website or use the website. And the users that are not authenticated will not be given the permission to use the website. Then we'll be in the later part of the third week, we'll be pulling the data from the APIs, like the Alpha Vantage API which will take the ID of a particular stock and will help in the displaying of it in the stock, as we had previously discussed in the project overview of the same project. And then we'll be adding the search functionality, in which the user will be asked to search a particular stock ID, and he'll be given the data in which maps to the project the stock ID. Then he'll be able to visualize the data in a UI that we created. In the fourth week, we'll be doing that. Also in the fourth week, we'll be seeing if the user is getting certain errors. If we get some errors, we'll be fixing those errors, and those errors will be taken care of. And in second month, we'll be taking care of the edge cases, like certain cases which are not dealt in the error handling are the ones that would be taken care in the first week of the second month. Then after some time, we'll be taking care of the backend of the project, as in we'll be creating a backend using MongoDB and things like that. And then we'll be creating certain APIs, and then after creating those APIs, in the second week, we'll be integrating those APIs with the news API. So news API is an API that has all the latest and greatest news or around the website, around the globe. And we can integrate those API, and we'll be telling that a news API that we want a certain API, like we only want the news of stock market. So we'll be fetching those API, and then we'll be displaying that news also in the UI. Then we'll be also implementing real-time updates using React and Express.js as well. And then we'll be deploying a team to optimize the performance, as in we'll be putting in less and less time in each and every activity that we do. Like if we search a particular thing, we want our website to be more responsive and take less time for each and everything that the website does. So we'll be trying to reduce the time that it takes for each and every function, and we'll be trying to optimize the performance. And then in the very end of the second month, we'll be deploying the application on the server and hosting the application as well. So in conclusion, why are project timelines essential? So we saw that it is essential for the completion of the projects. It helps in the clear understanding for the whole team and also the stakeholders regarding what are the project scope, what are the deliverables and deadlines that are set, and also helping set expectations and allocate resources to each and every individual in the associated with the project. It also is very effective in tracking and communication of the project, and it also helps in early identification of potential issues, which isn't possible if we do not deploy a project timeline. We'll be identifying those issues very later on in the period of the project, and we won't be able to do it in a very effective and effective way. So it'll be enabling teams to take corrective action before problem escalate. So these are the references that I used to create the project timeline and this presentation as well. And if you have any questions for me, you can throw them at me right away, or you can reach me in the following places. That's it from me, sir.
Right. So talking about the PPT first, see your the start of the presentation, the hook story. It was very good of you to summarize your entire task in the hook story itself. It was very innovative kind of thing. And talking about the flow was proper. You did explain everything about the timeline, everything. It's just while you were explaining the Gantt chart, can you just show me the Gantt chart?
Just a second, sir.
Right.
This is
So, yeah. So you did talk about the milestones, right?
yes, sir.
Right. So don't you think in your Gantt chart itself there has to be milestones for each alternative, or let's say 3 weeks? So your team will know, like at, after the end of this week there has to be this much job done, so that it won't be remaining for the very end of the month.
The job done timeline is shown by the parallel lines, and the job done is usually on the vertical side. So this much is, these are the jobs and the tasks that are implemented. And as we go along, we are completing each and every task and checking the things.
Right. So you're telling me ki, or every week there is milestone, because
Not it is
after the week one there is one vertical line, then week two there is one vertical line, right?
yes, sir.
So you're
Yeah.
talking ki that's the milestone.
Each and every task that there is, and yeah, so that's considered as a time as a milestone for me. Each and every task is considered as the completion of task is considered as a milestone.
Okay, because overlapping is seen in the week 3 and week 4.
So that's usually the dependencies on each and every the task before it. So we can have two different teams working on two different tasks simultaneously. So if let's say testing and debugging doesn't overlap with the search functionality, so we can have the two different teams working on the searching and search function and testing thing simultaneously at the same time.
Fair enough. I thought you could have used symbols like the end of
Like
the week two. You could just add some symbol, like at this end of the week, this amount of tasks has to be done, and then proceed with the next week. Okay, so I thought that could be an alternative, but the way you are explaining, I believe it's manageable for every week to have some milestone. Okay. About the rest of the PPT, as I said, it's well structured and the flow was good. That was a very good story. Good explanation about the Gantt chart, and the end of the presentation was proper as well. So I believe the presentation was
Thank you, sir.
okay.
Can you stop sharing?
Yeah, you can stop sharing.
Okay, sir.
Right. So let's move ahead. We have Anshita Sharma with us. Yes, Anshita, you can unmute.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, my screen is visible.
Yeah, your screen is visible.
So good evening, everyone. My name is Anshita Sharma, and I am going to give project presentation on developing a stock screener application in Python. So this is task 5, where we will be understanding the trend lines, and then we will be plotting the trend lines on HDFC Bank CSV dataset. So these are the contents that I will be discussing about in this presentation. So first, let's understand the relevance of this project with the help of a scenario. So let's first understand what actually trend lines are. Trend lines basically helps you to understand the trend of the market that let you know when to exit or entry into the market. So suppose let's take a scenario that if I say that tomorrow gold price sets to 50,000 rupees. So now I have a question whether you will buy it or not. Some of you may say no, we will not buy it because it's still high, and most of you may have an answer to yes, of course, because it's so affordable to most of the people and they will buy it. So our economics comes, which says that when the price lowers of any asset, then demand increases. It means that when the price of any asset in the market is affordable, then actually the demand of that product increases in the market. So what actually happens when I say that gold prices sets to rupees 50,000, then it increases the demand that most of the people are willing to buy that gold. Now, when the situation arises in the market that demand increases, then supply gets shorted. Now you have a question why? Because every asset present in the market is limited. So because of it, what happens when demand goes on increases day by day? So because of the limitation of that asset in the market, supply gets shorted. So what actually happens, that traders used to shoot up the price of that particular asset, and when the price gets shoot up, then again a scenario comes where there are a lot of sellers who want to sell the particular asset. Suppose if I say gold, so suppose initially its price was rupees 50,000 and now the price rises to 70,000 or 80,000, then there will be of course sellers because they want to sell the gold that they actually bought for rupees 50,000 because they want to make a profit of it. So this scenario of price up and down the market, when the market goes high, when the market goes low, so these actually predicted with the help of these trend lines. These trend lines help you to know when you have to sell your share, when you have to buy your share. So this is why we are doing this, and we are learning more about trend lines. So trend lines are basically straight lines drawn on a price chart. We have a price, like in the previous session, we saw about the candlestick pattern, which help us to know about the price of the particular share in the market. So we usually these trend lines drawn on a price chart that connect to our most significant price points, such as swing high or swing lows. So now let's see a deep dive into it, what actually it is. So these trend lines basically will help you to visualize the direction and strength of a trend in financial markets, providing insights into the overall movement of price. Means basically you know about the movement of the price, whether the price of the particular asset is going high, asset in the sense I mean share, or whether the price is going down. So whether you have to sell your share if you are holding it, or you have to buy. This will help you to take a decision. So traders and analysts use trend lines to identify potential areas of support and resistance. Support and resistance, here I mean support are basically buyers that I told the situation. If gold is of rupees 50,000, then this situation can be called as support, where a lot of people will be buying that. And if I say about resistance, so when the prices shoots up to 70,000 or 80,000, then it means that there are a lot of sellers who will be selling that particular asset. And it also helps to identify the spot trend, that what actually trend is going. And it also helps you to analyze the reversal of breakouts. Means if the trend gets breakout, it means that it might possible that the next pattern get changed. Suppose if your market is going high, then the reversal points let you know that next time your market will go down. So these are basically so helpful to know when to enter or when to exit for trades. So trend lines are a useful tool in technical analysis. They should be validated and considered alongside other indicators and market factors for making informed trading decisions. So here you can see the chart. These are our candlestick patterns that we saw, and this line that is drawn, this is our trend line. So we draw trend lines with a line connecting at least two price pivot points. For drawing a trend line, at least we should have 2 points, as it is shown that for this trend line, 1 point is here and another point is here. So these trend lines are dynamic support and resistance level, as I told, and we extend the trend line further down to include the new price action. Means we just draw for 2 points, and then there is a feature on the stock screener. You just extend that line to know that whatever the pattern will be generated in future. So automatically this trend line will help you to predict that here it is a breakout. So now you get to know that now the trend has changed. Now it will go upward. As price moves lower, your trend lines may need to be adjusted, as told. So basically on a chart, we can see 3 types of trend lines. First is uptrend, sideways trend, and downtrend. So uptrend means this type of pattern when you see on a chart. So this is drawn basically on the 2 points when we have higher low points. This and this, we have drawn this line on higher low points, and this type of chart is known as uptrend lines. And downtrend are basically when the line is drawn between the points which is lower high. And sideways trend is when you don't able to see the much difference between the prices. So this is known as sideways trend. Once we can have a look that what trend is basically also known as bullish trend, and it is characterized by a series of higher swings and higher swings lows, as I shown you here. Higher swings, these higher lows points. So it indicates a general upward movement in prices over time. So it shows you how the price is going up or in an upward